One tweet, 30 million views, and a comment section so savage it outliked the original post. Pokimane didn't just spark drama, she triggered a digital riot. Today we're breaking down how Pokimane's attempt to play moral judge turned into a 3-part firestorm, where her past, her contradictions, and her ego finally caught up. Quick question, should creators use their platform to push strong beliefs, even if they've contradicted them in the past? Drop your take, then buckle in, because we're starting with receipts. Let's start with the irony clip heard around the internet. Pokimane, multi-millionaire, Twitch queen, and YouTube juggernaut, recently said,
"And we hate the rich."
That would have been powerful if she weren't literally the rich. This wasn't said in satire or as a parody. This was delivered with full sincerity on a podcast while dressed like she's filming a Sephora ad. And yes, this is the same woman who once mocked viewers for complaining about the price of her $28 cookies.
$7 a bag.
She snapped before ending it with,
Like, if you're a broke boy, just say so.
You can't rail against wealth inequality while selling overpriced snacks with attitude. That's not activism. It's entitlement wrapped in self-righteous frosting. The crowd won't cheer for revolution if you're selling snacks at the guillotine. When Pokimane tweeted, "Believe all victims" after the Diddy trial, it wasn't just controversial. It was contradictory, because not long ago, she live-streamed herself mocking Amber Heard during the trial. She added a literal tear counter on screen, keeping score as Amber testified about abuse. Viewers laughed, but victims, they remembered. Now, fast forward to 2025, and Pokimane tweets in all caps like she's leading a protest. Problem is, the internet has receipts. Reddit threads resurfaced, clips recirculated. She apologized, saying she regrets how she covered the trial and deleted the videos. People aren't mad that she has opinions. They're mad she changes them based on what's trending. Principles aren't real if they only exist when it's popular to have them. Tech One put it best. These people don't believe anything they're saying. They just say what the public wants to hear. That wasn't shade. It was an uppercut aimed directly at Pokimane. The backlash wasn't just public. It was peer-to-peer. Asmongold piled on, calling her brave in a tone so sarcastic it practically dripped off the screen. And it's not hard to see why. Every time Pokimane gets backlash, the cycle repeats. She posts a values-heavy tweet. It goes viral. People dig up her past contradictions, and she disappears until it blows over. What's the point of being a voice if it's only echoing public pressure? If your convictions collapse under scrutiny, they weren't convictions, they were costume changes. Pokimane's next viral moment came from a podcast where she lamented the lack of female streamers on the level of Kai Cenat or I Show Speed. She claimed the industry had become more male-dominated and subtly framed it as a sign of systemic imbalance. Now, at first glance, that seems like a fair observation, until you realize the streaming landscape is broader than ever. She conveniently left out VTubers, gaming creators, and even event organizers like Cutie Cinderella, who all pull huge numbers. And the irony? Her own success disproves her point. She built her brand in this same so-called boys club and profited massively. Success in content creation doesn't care about gender. It cares about grind. Viewers follow engagement, not excuses. We're not watching dudes because they're dudes. We're watching whoever's doing the wildest stuff with the most passion. Let's talk about VTubers, the elephant in the chat that Pokimane somehow ignored. While she claimed female streamers weren't dominating anymore, millions of viewers were busy watching creators like Iron Mouse, Gargura, and Shy Lily smash records and build cult followings. These women are pulling in Super Bowl level numbers without ever showing their faces. And yes, they're real women, entertaining real audiences with real effort. Saying there aren't many big female streamers while ignoring them is like pretending pop music doesn't exist because it's not on your playlist. That's not an oversight, it's erasure. The top subscribed female streamer on Twitch is a VTuber. Her name is Iron Mouse. Look her up. You can't say women aren't winning when you refuse to count the ones who already did. Let's get brutally honest. People aren't watching Kai and Speed just because they're guys. They're watching them because they go all out. From wild IRL adventures across continents to celebrity-packed streams, they create moments you can't scroll past. It's chaotic, unpredictable, and takes serious effort. Meanwhile, Pokimane's content often consists of reaction clips, commentary, or sitting and watching YouTube videos with chat. That's fine, but it's not the same energy. It's not the same investment. And it's definitely not the same grind. You want the same rewards? Put in the same work. If your biggest stream event is eating a salad, don't act surprised when others are pulling millions with a hot tub or a plane ticket. The algorithm rewards entertainment, not entitlement. Right after the Super Bowl, Pokimane dropped another take that sent the timeline into chaos. Her claim? The only people who didn't like Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance were white. That's right, disliking a song apparently means you're racist now. She even doubled down, saying she didn't want to say it, but then said it anyway, while doing TikTok-style hand gestures mid-rant. It didn't sit well with anyone. Fans, creators, and casual viewers alike were baffled. People weren't upset about a message of support for Kendrick. They were upset that basic musical opinions were being used to draw racial lines. It's possible to dislike a performance without being prejudiced. Not every disagreement is discrimination. And when you keep framing things this way, you make it harder for people to recognize real injustice when it actually happens. Stretching the race card this thin only cheapens the message. Pokimane's Believe All Victims tweet wasn't just controversial. It became comedy fuel for the entire internet. Within hours, replies mocking the post started going viral, and then outperforming her original tweet. One reply, claiming she raped someone at an airport in 1997, racked up more likes than the original post. It spiraled from there. Fake accusations flooded the replies, each more ridiculous than the last. She took my cheeks in 2001, earned thousands of likes. You are brave for sharing, got tens of thousands more. It was sarcastic, it was extreme, and it proved just how broken the discourse around serious topics has become online. The internet doesn't forget hypocrisy. It memes it until you can't show your face without being the punchline. And when your own audience turns your statement into satire, you've lost control of the conversation. Just when things couldn't get weirder, a clip surfaced of Pokimane joking about VTubers and makeup routines, culminating in her declaring, "My womb is eternal." Yes, you heard that right. She said it with full confidence in the middle of a serious conversation about women streamers feeling replaced by anime avatars. What was supposed to be commentary on the rise of VTubers turned into a chaotic mess of sarcasm, jealousy, and internet cringe. The clip went viral, not for its message, but for how absolutely off the rails it was. It didn't empower women. It confused everyone. You can't have a conversation about real issues while acting like a TikTok filter gone rogue. When the delivery overshadows the message never lands.
While the internet debated Pokimane's stance, Asmongold came in with a take so blunt it felt like a slap. He said she's technically right, Twitch is male-dominated, but not for the reasons she implied. According to him, women don't watch streams. Most of the audience is guys, and guys follow content that reflects them. Funny, chaotic, confident. Then he added the dagger. When you look at the most popular female streamers, their top clips aren't gameplay or commentary. They're moments where they get up, sit down, or wear something tight. He said it, not us. It's a harsh reality. Streaming is visual. And when your audience is mostly lonely dudes, the algorithm isn't filtering for moral character. It's filtering for appeal. Pretending otherwise doesn't empower creators. It just misreads the room. Here's something people don't like admitting. Twitch is still built on appearance. Asmongold pointed out that if you scroll through the top 100 male streamers, you'll find all types. Buff, scrawny, ugly, weird. But the top 100 female streamers, nearly every single one is attractive. Not mid, not average, attractive. This isn't to say they're not talented, but it reveals something uncomfortable. Twitch rewards beauty when it comes to women and chaos when it comes to men. That's not Pokimane's fault, but it also means the playing field was never fair to begin with. And when Pokimane acts like she's excluded from something she helped dominate for years, it rings hollow. You can't call out a system you helped build, then act like it's working against you. Here's the core issue people have with Pokimane. It's not that she speaks out, it's that she often speaks after the outrage has peaked. Every time a new cultural moment hits, she's tweeting. Every time it backfires, she's deleting. Then she reappears days later with an apology and a cleaned up image. To her critics, it's not about justice. It's about image. They say she cherry picks causes that keep her looking virtuous while staying vague enough to dodge accountability. Believe victims. We hate the rich. Women can lie. These aren't stances. They're slogans designed for maximum likes with minimum depth. Moral branding only works if your audience still believes you stand for something. And right now, many believe she only stands for engagement. There's a reason so many replies to Pokimane's tweet felt extra hostile. It's not just about hypocrisy, it's about betrayal. For years, Pokimane cultivated a fan base made up mostly of lonely guys who thought she was different, relatable, nice, chill. But over time, it became clear she wasn't just a streamer, she was a business. The shift from "I'm just like you" to "I'm above you" happened slowly. First came the paywalls, then came the merch, then came the condescension. Broke boys, remember? And suddenly, those parasocial fans realized something brutal. She didn't care about them. They were engagement stats, wallets, noise. When your brand is built on intimacy but monetized like a billboard, disillusionment is inevitable. Meanwhile, VTubers are rising, and not just because they're cute. They represent something different. They don't shame their audience. They don't flaunt wealth. They create cozy, absurd, chaotic worlds where people feel safe escaping. Even Asmongold noted that anime avatars appeal to both guys and girls. Real women can trigger envy or comparison, but a VTuber? She's a character, a voice, an idea. Girls admire her. Guys fantasize about her. Everyone feels welcome. And behind those avatars, real streamers, real effort, real hustle. In a space where authenticity feels manufactured, the irony is this: anime masks are making people feel more seen than real faces ever did. Here's where things get dystopian. Not only are VTubers dominating stream culture, AI girlfriends are now entering the chat. Literal bots that people talk to, simp for, and in some cases, pay to pretend to be in love with them. One popular AI streamer racked up over 400 million chats. That's not just entertainment, that's addiction. The parasocial relationship has gone from fantasy to full-on delusion. And Pokimane, whether she likes it or not, helped normalize that model. She blurred the line between connection and commerce, between community and customer. Now, we're seeing what happens when people chase intimacy through a screen and lose themselves in it. You can't sell the illusion of closeness forever. Eventually, people wake up and they're bitter. What started as a casual dig turned into a full-blown flex off. After XQC's $100 million kick deal was announced, Pokimane publicly cast doubt on the number. She insinuated that the contract was likely exaggerated and tossed in some subtle shade, basically suggesting he was lying or inflating his worth. That's when things got dumb. XQC fired back, practically waving his contract around like a trophy, daring people to challenge it. Equity deals, payout structures, behind-the-scenes whispers, it all became part of a ridiculous public pissing match. It was like watching two billionaires argue over whose yacht has the better hot tub, and fans, they weren't amused. If you're flexing your bank statements in front of fans who can't pay rent, you've already lost. XQC didn't hold back. He slammed Pokimane's comments in his usual chaotic, half-decipherable rants. He mocked the idea that anyone needed to prove their income to someone who doubted it with zero evidence. His words were messy, but his message was crystal clear. Stop trying to diminish what others earn just because you're not part of the deal. But here's the part no one talks about. Why did Pokimane even care? Why take a shot at the numbers in the first place? To her critics, it's classic ego. If someone else is making more, she has to downplay it. It's less about fairness and more about control. Jealousy, dressed up as skepticism, is still jealousy. While Pokimane and XQC bickered over contract digits most people will never touch, their audiences were sitting at home, broke, burned out, and somehow still emotionally invested. This is the tragedy of modern streaming. You've got millionaires arguing over paychecks on podcasts, while the viewers scraping by are arguing in the replies, defending creators who would never notice if they vanished. People are picking sides in a battle where the prize is nothing but bragging rights and broken trust. It's the content creator of the Hunger Games, and nobody wins, except maybe the algorithm. When the people watching you struggle harder than the people on screen, something's gone seriously wrong. 3 viral clips, 2 millionaires arguing, and one platform flooded with contradictions. That's the state of modern streaming. Pokimane's fall from grace isn't about one bad tweet. It's about years of curated relatability, crumbling under the weight of her own brand. When authenticity becomes a costume, the internet always notices. And when your past receipts don't match your present morals, the crowd stops clapping. If you want more breakdowns like this one, click the next video in the playlist, where we dig into creators whose controversies actually help them grow, and why cancel culture doesn't always mean game over. This video is for commentary and entertainment purposes only, not professional advice. Consult a qualified expert as needed.